Peace and love, black families. The Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson, live and direct, Atlanta, Georgia, awaiting my flight to Japan, Tokyo. I see you on Saturday. Prince of Pan-Africanism will be speaking to the African family in Tokyo, Japan, Saturday. And I'll be speaking to the African family in Nagoya, Japan on Sunday. And then I'll be speaking to the African family in Beijing and Shanghai next week. So today is the 63rd anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court decision. 63 years of school desegregation. Now, a couple of points on this. Number one, schools are still racially segregated. 90% of the public schools in the United States are still racially segregated. African American children, on average, attend racially segregated schools 90% of the time. And of course, white students do as well. Now, I am not a big fan of school desegregation. I actually think that it was a curse more than it was a cure. I do understand while our great legal ancestors, Charles Hamilton Houston, Thurgood Marshall, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, I understood why they fought to tear down access to better education. It was important that they destroy the barriers that prevented black children from being able to learn wheresoever their parents chose. I understand that. But from a practical, applicable standpoint, from a strategic and tactical standpoint, school desegregation has been a disaster for our children, and in particular for black boys. I say this for a couple of reasons. Number one, special education may have never been created had there never been school desegregation. Special education may have never been created had there not been school desegregation. We have to understand that the learning disability and the ADHD and the conduct disorder and the mild mental retardation and the math disabilities and the reading disabilities, most of this would not exist. Discipline schools, juvenile incarceration, the school to prison pipeline, most of these things probably would not even exist had it not been for school desegregation. In fact, said another way, I would argue that the reason why black children, and boys in particular, struggle so much with academic outcomes and behavioral outcomes is due to the fact that the predominant white female American teaching corps, the predominantly white female American teaching corps, white women make up over 90% of America's teachers. They don't care about black children, period. So when you talk about only 1 out of every 4 black boys graduating from high school, when you talk about 3 out of every 4 black boys being referred for an ADHD evaluation or a special education evaluation, when you talk about low test scores, failure to learn, ADHD, all of this is a result of the lack of commitment to black children by the teachers who teach them in the classroom. We got to be very clear. The black boy doesn't have a problem learning. The black boy has a problem receiving effective education from female white teachers. See, the black boy is twice discriminated against. He's discriminated against because he's black in a white racist institution. Okay? He's discriminated against because he's black in a white racist institution. And then he's discriminated against because he's a black male in a white female dominated institution. So you're dealing with 2 factors here. You're dealing with racism times sexism. Let me say it again. The black boy is twice victimized. He is victimized on account of his race, and he is victimized on account of his gender. You understand? The white female has no concern for the black male student. The white female teacher has no concern for the black male student. So when we talk about this whole school to prison pipeline, this miseducation machine from a Brown versus Board of Education perspective, we have to be very, very clear that our children are struggling not because they can't learn, not because of the curriculum, not because of single mothers, not because of incarcerated dads, not because of gangster rap or sagging pants. They can't learn because the white female teacher isn't interested in teaching. See, when we deal with education, we deal with 3 R's in education. We deal with rigor, relevance, and relationships. Rigor, holding the child to the highest academic standard, demanding the best and demanding excellence. That's the rigor. But you also have to deal with the relevance. The curriculum must be relevant in order for the child to learn. The curriculum must be relevant in order for the child to learn. And I can tell you, as a former school administrator, the toughest job you have as a principal, one of the toughest jobs you have, if you're a good principal, is making sure your teachers spend quality time designing lessons